Okay, I'm going to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Members present are Mr. Cost, Mr. Bubb, Mr. Johnson for Mr. Marmee, and myself, Mrs. Floyd. The first item is Ordinance 16-37 to provide for the issuance of $5,040,000 of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of refunding outstanding bond anticipation notes previously issued for the purpose of paying the cost of replacement water main and service lines and all necessary appurtenances, including but not limited to hydrants, valves, and fittings, and to provide additional funds to pay for other water system improvements. And for the record, Mr. Frazier is here. Okay, Mr. Johnson.
What Ordinance 1637 will do is renew an existing $4 million note that the city issued about 2 years ago to pay for the water line portion of the downtown square improvements. When it's renewed this year, it's going to be increased by $1 million. $500,000 of that will go for engineering for the water line project on the square. The other $500,000 is for the riverbank filtration project. Now, I don't know what that is, but Mr. Loomis does. So if you have any questions about it, please direct those to him. This will be renewed again, should it be passed tonight, in 2017, and then in 2018 we'll begin to reduce the principal on this because we have a 30-year refunding bond issue for the Waterworks Improvement Project that we're paying about $1.8 million a year for. That will be eliminated in 2018, so that money will be channeled to reduce this debt. And I would like for it to be expedited because, as always, a lot of things have to be done before this note can be reissued, and nothing can be started until the legislation's in place.
Okay.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay. Motion by Bubb, second by Frazier. Are there any questions from the committee? Any questions from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We'll go on to full council.
Thank you.
All right. Our second piece of legislation is Resolution 16-83, appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation. There is hereby an appropriation of the unappropriated balance of $153 compensated absences fund in the amount of $2,375 as a payout for Michael Lyon. It's good to see you, Chief Connor.
Hi there.
Hi.
This is just the payout for a person that has left our division to go elsewhere for employment, and we just ask that you appropriate that money, please.
Okay, thank
Motion.
you.
Second.
Okay, motion by Bubb, second by Cost. Any questions or discussion from the committee? Any from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Third is Resolution 16-83, appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation. There is hereby an appropriation of the unappropriated balance of the 231 Probation Improvement Grant Fund in the amount of $175, reimbursement for the Scram unit.
Good evening. This was, as you said, a reimbursement for a person cutting off a strap. We received the payment from them of $175. We then purchased a few items from the Alcohol Monitoring System Services that totaled $170. The bill should have been paid out of 2015 calendar money. It was paid out of 2016 instead, so that's why we're coming back again. This was already appropriated back in December of 2015, but since there was from my understanding, there was a clerical error made in the data entry of the New World system, so that's why we're here again this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Bubb, second by Frazier. Any questions or comments from the committee? From the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
The third part of 1683, there is hereby a disappropriation of the appropriated balance of the 100 general fund in the amount of $4,000 overtime.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What we're looking for is a disappropriation and a reappropriation. What we have is we have some additional overtime. We've had a unusual amount of burials on Saturdays, and we have to bring a couple, 2 or 3 people in to work on Saturdays when there are burials. That's time and a half, and we've exceeded our amount of overtime dollars because of that. So I'm taking it from 3 accounts. One of them is that says miscellaneous account. That's the account when we sell wreaths and those incomes come in. Then we have some dollars in there for tree care in the cemetery, and the other part where the $4,000 is coming from is a vehicle supply account. We think we're pretty good in those accounts, and if we could transfer that into personnel, that should take me the remainder of the year.
I'll make a motion for appropriation.
Okay, motion by Bub, second by Cost. Any questions or comments from the committee?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is the Parks Department?
Yes, sir.
Where the overtime's happening?
Yep.
And then, I mean, is there any way to gauge whether this is going to be sufficient? Or?
We think it'll be sufficient. What we did is we gauged how the first part of this year started, and we figured it that way. And the other thing we do is, when you bring people in on Saturdays, they generally work a minimum of 3 hours, but if we're in the middle of a project, we go and finish it. We try to get other things accomplished too. Mm-hmm. That way, they just don't do one thing, stand around, and then finish up the service.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, David. Okay, the second part of that is Section 4, which is an appropriation of the unappropriated balance of 100 general fund in the amount of $4,000 for the overtime.
Motion.
Motion by Bub, second by Cost. Again, any questions from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Resolution number 16-84, appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation. There is an appropriation of the unappropriated balance of the 100 general fund in the amount of $694.67. Overtime hazmat run.
Federal law allows us to collect a portion of our expenditures on overtime in a hazmat run. So we've been working with the EMA very closely to try to recover costs that we have in providing that service either within the city or outside the city we assist. So in this case, it was $694.67, and we're asking if we put that back into our overtime. We paid that out of our current overtime budget. We'd just like to put that money back into it, please.
Okay.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bug, second by Frazier. Any questions or discussion from up here?
Yeah. Madam Chair. How many hazmat runs do we have had this year, and how many do we typically have?
On average, we have no more than 10, usually 6 to 10 hazmat runs a year. In some cases, the federal government allows us to collect. Anytime we're over 2 hours on a scene, we can then collect personnel costs and equipment costs there. In years past, we hadn't collected very well, and in this case, we're now on top of all of those things, trying to collect every dollar we can that's federally granted to us through a law. So 6 to 10 hazmat runs a year.
Is that 100% cost recovery after 2 hours?
Yes, it is. And a lot of times the company that has caused the incident is required to pay that. But we do recover those. The EMA has been great. Sean Grady and John Weber, the EMA, have been great in assisting us with the proper paperwork to get these funds replaced.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And Resolution 16-85, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
This is something that the city does every year at this time. The county sends us legislation saying what our millage will be. And we have no voted millage, so it's the 3.1 mils. We also have 0.6 of the mil that goes toward the liability for past police and fire pension debt. When it initially began, it was underfunded. So we received millage to pay that back. The clerk of council has to file this with the county budget commission by October 1st. So it's an emergency, and as I said, it's a housekeeping issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Frazier, second by Mr. Bug. Any other questions or comments from the committee? From the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
And that's the end of the Finance Committee. Thank you very much. Okay, if you want to do service, come do service.
All right, we'll call the Service Committee meeting to order. Those present are myself, Rath, Cost, Bub, Frazier, and Floyd. Up first will be ordinance 16-38, authorizing and directing the Newark City Safety Director to certify to a Licking County auditor the sum of $509,034.37 incurred by the Newark City Property Maintenance Division with respect to property maintenance violations to be placed as a lien upon certain parcels of real property situated in the city of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Paul, good to see you, sir.
Yeah, this is the same ordinance, the lien document we come to you folks with every year. Just due to the way the county changed the way they, how often they assess these, it's a little bit larger this time because we had a little bit longer period of time there. But it's the same, it's liens for fines and fees incurred in the Division of Property Maintenance.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
Motion.
Motion by Bub. Seconded by Frazier. Mr. Frazier, I assume you have a question.
Of course I do. Mr. Paul.
Yes.
So is this for the last year? Is that?
It's actually approximately 19 months, the last 19 months.
Okay. And then some of the higher dollar amounts that we see here, there's a couple for $7,000. Are those just repeat violations? And
some of the larger ones are repeat violations. The largest one that's on this document, I believe, is 263 Boylston. It was a burnout house with the landowners, property owners having no insurance. So we end up having to tear it down. And that was the cost of the demolition, plus some fines in there as well.
Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. That will move on to full council with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. And
Now we'll do street.
Service Committee is adjourned. Next will be street.
Okay, I'm going to call the street committee to order. We're here to discuss ordinance 16-39, an ordinance vacating an alley as shown on the plat of O.F. Connell's subdivision of outlots L, M, N, and O of the William C. Mahalam addition to the town of Lockport as recorded in Plat Book 2, page 104 of the Licking County Plat Records. Said alley is located between 172 and 180 Grant Street. Mr. Moorhead.
Thank you. So I was before your committee a couple of weeks ago to discuss this alley, and all the adjoining property owners to the alley have signed the petition, so there's no requirement to pass a resolution of intent nor to do any publishing of the alley vacation. So what you see before you is the ordinance to vacate the alley, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. If there's anyone here to speak on it, they're glad to come up and...
Is there anybody in the audience to speak to this alley? Okay. A motion by Mr. Johnson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rath.
raises the...
That alley's right.
Come up to the microphone and give your name and address, please.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Marshall Hoy. I live at 172 Grant Street. That alley runs right next to my house. It dead ends into what the alley used to run all the way to Offie's Alley.
Okay.
But it dead ends right in the middle of my yard. And I have people pulling in there. I've cleaned a lot next to me. And people pull in there. I caught a guy the other night standing on my air conditioner, looking in my kitchen window. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's by the railroad tracks, there's a lot of traffic up and down through there. So I'm just trying to get it vacated.
Okay. Okay, are there any questions from the committee? Anybody from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 6-0. And with that, we are adjourned, and safety is next.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to call this Public Safety Committee to order. We have Frazier, Blake, Johnson, Floyd, and Rath. So today on the agenda is to discuss amending the pickup times for trash in regards to 1860-11 Section A, and specifically zoning for the downtown district. Is there anyone here to talk on the subject? Yes, sir.
Hi there, my name is Steve Macklatt and I represent JKB Management, who owns and operates the McDonald's on 21 South 3rd Street.
Can we get your address as well for the record?
Yeah, mine is 18038 Coshocton Road, Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Go ahead.
Okay, so for the square, when they did the renovations there, they closed the alley that's right next to our drive-through. And what would happen is the trash truck would pull in, get the trash, and then go straight through on a one-way alley. Now what they have to do is they have to go in, pick up the trash, and then back up into an alley. So what they're saying is that they have been notified that there's a noise ordinance before 6 a.m. That would not allow them to pick up the trash. And what they're concerned is safety, because when they're backing up, when there's so many cars moving around, not only in the drive-thru when our restaurant is open, but also around the apartments, it's unsafe for their drivers and also the public. So what we're asking for is leniency on that ordinance so that they can pick it up prior to 6 a.m. and get that trash removed.
So after the downtown development is over, is this problem going to remain? And so basically West Main is shut off. Are you saying that the only alley they can use for your trash pickup is by the drive-thru?
Yes. Yeah, because it's been closed off. The trash truck actually cannot go straight because of the curbing. There's also a sign there, so it's impossible for a trash truck to navigate that. We'd be actually going up over our sidewalk and tear it up because it's just pavers. So they have to reverse. They have to back up. And because of a big trash truck trying to reverse in a very tight alley, it makes it difficult.
And they can't drive through the drive-thru, right?
And the building,
yeah,
the overhang. They're too big. So it kind of limits our ability to pick up trash. We've been notified by Republic that they have canceled our contract until we resolve the issue.
Really?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
You asked a question and I didn't hear the answer, so I'll ask it again. When the construction is complete downtown, will this issue remain?
That alley will not open up. So yes, the issue will remain.
And what do you propose as a resolution?
The trash company is comfortable with picking up prior to 4 a.m. because there's not a lot of traffic at that time of day, between 4 and 4:30.
Okay.
So by relaxing the noise ordinance, the trash truck could go in there, pick up the trash, reverse into the alley, and then navigate out.
Mr. Frazier.
Ms. Floyd?
Has there been any discussion with the residents of Candlewood Commons there? You got a lot of senior citizens who probably will not appreciate noise at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning.
So we were notified just the week of the 22nd that they're going to start enforcing the noise ordinance from Republic. So they've been there before, and to my knowledge, there hasn't been any complaints.
They've been there at 4 or 4:30 in the morning before?
Yes. But now they can't do that because they've been told that the noise ordinance will be enforced. So now that forces them to pick up after 6 a.m.
And did they give you a reason why they were canceling the contract, just because of the inconvenience and rerouting their...
Yeah, it's the safety concern, not the inconvenience. So it's the safety of having to come in after 6 a.m. and there's so much traffic moving around that drive-through area, in that alley.
That's all.
I'm not on council.
You're fine. You are on council, you're just not on the committee.
The question is, if that passes, is that the entire city?
So the proposal that
No issue.
we're discussing is the downtown district only.
Okay. And then that can change later?
Yes, but it sounds like the need is going to remain past construction, and so it might be a permanent solution for the downtown district.
That's true.
It seems to me we need some more discussion with this with downtown, because, they're talking about all kinds of housing downtown. A lot of people are going to be living in those apartments that they're doing up above the businesses and everything. And I'm not sure I understand your concern, I understand your problem. On the other hand, I think we need to not jump into something that we're going to regret down the road, because, depending on how many people are living down there, they're probably not going to appreciate 4:30 in the morning, because it is noisy, So, I do.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Blake?
my understanding from what I've heard testified here is your trash company, Republic, has previously picked up trash for 4:30 in the morning. At some point, there was a complaint, and then Republic received some notification from some city official saying that, hey, we need to enforce the city ordinance. Is that about correct?
I do not know about the complaint.
Okay.
We were just notified by Republic that the noise ordinance would be enforced.
So are they doing that amongst themselves, or were they saying that they were notified by some city office to do that?
Yeah, the gentleman from Republic, wrote it down here somewhere. He informed us, his name was Grant, he informed us that the noise ordinance would be enforced the week of August 29th. And we were notified that August 22nd.
So they must have reviewed our ordinance themselves, and they said, hey, we're going to start following this. We're not going to be picking up any further.
Doesn't sound.
Yeah, so right now we've got a certified letter on the way saying we're canceling your contract and we have no way for trash removal right now for the McDonald's.
We have 4 other trash vendors in Newark, so you can...
But they still got to back up. That's the problem. The alley's been shut down.
How often do they pick up trash?
3 times a week, sir. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Mr. Rath?
So, in a couple of weeks, what are they doing with trash now?
Well, today was their first pickup that they canceled.
Okay.
So we're actively looking for either a variance or some other solution to remove trash, because right now there is none.
We're looking at a resolution, even if we had an ordinance before us today, which we do not. We'd be looking at 45 days from today, even if it was past the emergency clause, but, correct?
Yeah, then probably 45 days.
45 days, if we passed it with the emergency clause.
Yeah. Not unless something was written and brought up with Rule 11 on next Monday night council meeting. We do it that way.
And that would give us how much, it would pass something, but, I mean, we still won't have a resolution in front of us today, or an ordinance.
Right, that's asking that, right, when we did that.
So it'd be 2 weeks before we can even discuss it in committee.
And that's if the majority agree.
And does the
Right.
trash keep accumulating then, right?
And that's the point that I'm making, is that we're looking at 45 to 60-day resolution, if we pass some type of ordinance or resolution through this committee, as fast as we can possibly pass. What is your, or their plan of action
Intermediate.
in the meantime?
They have no plan. Republic doesn't. They're basically...
I'm not talking about Republic, I'm talking about McDonald's.
Sorry about that. I thought that's what you said.
Yeah.
So our plan would be to try to get some kind of a residential pickup, or find some other vendor to come in there later, and we'll have to figure out something, whether we walk trash bags across, but obviously that's not a real good solution considering how much trash we generate. It's better to pick it up through a dumpster and put it in than have our employees shuttle one bag at a time, which there's, that's a lot.
Rolling dumpsters.
Yeah, well, rolling in gravels with something that heavy is tough, because there's gravel all over that area, because there's construction there and gravel. So it's a tough situation that we're in right now.
You did have one pickup, right, where we had to shut down the entire road in order for them to pick it up?
Yeah, they tried to do it after 6 a.m., so they asked our people to be in safety vests, and we put cones out, and they still weren't comfortable with that. Their drivers were complaining that I can't see, I don't know these guys, they're not trained traffic people, so we don't feel comfortable, and so they made the call that they just weren't going to pick up anymore.
Could I ask Mr. Rhodes to come forward?
Yeah. Mr. Rhodes?
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Could I join you for a minute?
Sure.
I'll be the first to admit that I am not familiar with the geography in that area to be able to answer any questions.
I'd just like to say it's a very, very unique situation.
It is.
He's explained it to a T. There is a problem there. We do have a city ordinance about trash pickup time. I don't know if this case would merit a variance. It probably would. There's a safety issue if they come in the middle of the day like you spoke to. The alley is blocked off. It's not going to open back up. There could be further development in the area, we hope, which might further complicate things. So go ahead. You got a question?
I'm assuming that you know the geography much better than I do.
A little bit.
And I'm wondering if there's an alternative location.
For their trash?
Yes.
Well, have you went through, well, you probably haven't. If you go through the drive-through, and the way they have set it up, they've maximized that parcel. And what they did has worked for years. And when we made the changes to the street and the alley and things of that nature, that's kind of what has them bogged up a little bit. So
let me go back to my original question. Is there an alternative?
Well, you know, the mayor and I were just chatting, maybe a variance. Is there an alternative location? I'd have to look at their site plan to answer that. I mean, I'd really have to look at that. I'm not so sure it's necessarily fair to say, gosh.
And I guess what I'm asking is, to be blunt and straightforward, is there a city-owned parcel in that close proximity that we could place a dumpster in, at least in a temporary manner, that will allow them to get their trash out and allow a truck to take it away while we work on a more permanent solution?
Not directly connected, other than a city alley. Not directly connected.
This all Flubarg.
Pardon me?
This all Flubarg.
Why don't I do this? If you guys are willing to somewhat of a variance, why don't I work with the gentleman a little bit, and why don't I ask the law director to write something up? As long as Mrs. Floyd and Mr. Marmee are in agreement, maybe we can do something with Rule 11, and maybe we can help them out.
Well, I think my biggest concerns are the same as what Ms. Floyd raised, is noise in the area.
There are people that sleep in Candlewood Commons. That's real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real concern.
Well, I mean,
So is the safety. You know, when you leave here at night, because this is a situation that's real. I mean, it's not going to get any better. When you leave here at night, go through the drive-thru, get a coat, take a look. Take a look at the land. If you have a better thought, bring it to us, because we'd like to help this local business come to a good resolution. And if you do a variance and then we get 30 people calling from Candlewood Commons, was that a good thing? I don't know. If you get somebody that gets hit, is that a good thing? I don't think that's a good thing. So there's that.
if we need a variance, we could always revoke it.
You could?
We could always reverse it if it becomes a noise issue.
It just seems to me that we just need to be careful I understand their problem, but we just need to not open a can of worms so trash haulers all around the county or all around the city, because I remember discussing this for a long time before, as to what would be an appropriate time to allow them to do that, because we had complaints from citizens.
We had them. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we're working on, this is about at the 500-foot level in the downtown area, as these roads tighten up and more businesses open up, we're working on combined trash services with other entities. And we're currently working with that on the Canal Market District to see if we can get 3 or 4 people into one hauler. So we have one common pickup day. And you know, should further development occur in that area, this might be the right situation. If you look back when the Sparta was open and the Barrel and Bore, and you know, of course, that alley is now going to be blocked off. All of a sudden, you've got the Chase Banks trash. So you have that situation too. So we've been in contact, you know, with the people from the Barrel and Bore, people in the Chase Bank building, and the Sparta, trying to resolve that too. So trash in tight areas is it's an issue.
It's a problem.
So I sense you guys would be okay to a variance. Is that so? If I put something together, Carol, can you guys bring something forward? Maybe
I already have the legislation being drawn up for the downtown district, but if there's a better recommendation as a variance on a per person basis,
I'm not so sure I'd be in favor of the downtown district.
I was looking for a solution. That's what I was looking to do.
The variance for the one business.
I would want it to be much more pinpointed.
That's fine with me.
Well,
I mean, the
let's
issue
do
is this man doesn't have trash pickups at all.
Let's do this one business at a time. And Mark, email me what you have. I'll get with Doug Sasson. Carol, I'll forward you the legislation, and I'll get it out to all council members. If Carol and Doug would agree to bring it up with Rule 11 and then vote on it that night, then it's done. That's done. But again, once we do this and people start to pull in on trash pickup days, all of a sudden now we get bombarded with calls from Kennewick Commons. So let me work with him a little bit too to
Yeah, and I think the other issue is if we don't do this and there's overflowing trash.
it's a health and safety issue.
That's going to be a complaint too.
Yep.
I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
Is there any way for that alley to be opened up? That's in front of by the drive-through.
No.
And then, is there any resolution that's been identified for the Chase Bank situation? Or is there any thoughts that are in the works?
Yeah. There's been a remedy there. They'll do one hauler that all the 3 entities will agree on. We're just waiting.
And then they go through the Chase Bank parking lot? Is that how they get there?
Yeah, one trash truck. And we're just waiting for somebody to come back into the Sparta, whether that building sells or not. But yes, that will be done.
And is there an anticipation for any other properties that might have this?
Well, again, we're going to work with the people behind Canal Market. You know, North Park Place is going to close here shortly. We hope to have new businesses open up there. And we're going to follow the same pattern to see if we can get business owners to work together. But again, I've been through the drive-through at McDonald's. I've looked at the situation. It's a unique situation. You do have people who live upstairs, and some of those people are handicapped. But also, you have an awful lot of cars. McDonald's is a very popular place in the morning. I mean, their breakfast is they start lining up early, so it's a real safety concern. It is a real safety concern. So this might be an area of variance, might be merit. Let me get it written up. I'll work with the gentleman a little bit. Carol, I'll get it to you, and if you and Doug are in agreement, we'll bring it up, and we'll kind of go from there.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Costa. Mr. Blake, go ahead.
Is there a vendor that will do afternoon or do another time?
I haven't gotten into that.
We've heard.
Eliminate safety issue.
I'm just curious if we have other vendors that do trash hauling, so there's got to be an evening pickup.
Mr. Blake.
When there's another time when there's less traffic.
The law is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's the window.
You can do another time.
Jeremy, I hear you, and that's one of the things I'll chat with the gentleman about. Okay, I think that's a fair question, because there are times during the day that
are less
traffic.
Yeah. Because I will say this, because I don't want to. I guess I don't want to get into a situation where we keep having business owners come to us wanting to get variances for an ordinance that is passed. I don't think that's good.
Good practice.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And when it's written, I'll email it to all the council members so you can take a look at it, so you can weigh in on it a little bit.
Mr. Costa.
I have a question for Mr. Rose.
Yeah.
The trash for McDonald's, what does Kennewick Commons do? Is that the same situation, or a different hauler, or a different container, or?
Bill, I can't answer that. And that's a fair question. Yep,
Because they're obviously doing it somehow.
yep. It's a fair question.
You don't own Kenwood Commons, right? You're totally separate.
That's a different group.
Any other questions or comments before we adjourn?
I think we need to go with this legislation.
I'll get it.
Mr. Rhodes, I'll email you what I sent over to the law director, type up something that makes sense for a variance, talk to the mayor, let us know
Yep.
what the plan is, and hopefully we can bring it up.
I'll get it out to you, and Carol, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, thank
And then
you.
make sure you guys exchange information as well. So thank you, everybody. That should wrap it up for today. We'll adjourn safety and adjourn committees for tonight. Thank you, everybody.